Welcome back to Soil Smarts video series. This is video number 7, Grounded in Science, the peer-reviewed path to a final approach. DTSC has created this series of educational videos about the soil cleanup of chemicals to local background levels at NASA and DOE areas at the Santa Susana Field Laboratory. You can access the entire series on our website. In this video, we explain what independent scientific experts said about DTSC's Multiple Lines of Evidence, or MLE approach, which is a proposal for the background cleanup of soils. So what is scientific peer review? Think of it like a professional second opinion. Before a new approach is finalized, independent experts who weren't involved in the work step in to review and double-check everything. They make sure the methods are solid and the conclusions are backed by the best science. California law requires peer review for scientific documents that support regulations and decisions that can affect public health and the environment. In this case, there was no law requiring the MLE approach be peer-reviewed. DTSC chose to do it to help provide the public with confidence in the proposed approach. The State Water Resources Control Board manages California's peer review program. University of California, Berkeley serves as the contractor that finds qualified experts to provide objective reviews. There was no direct interaction between Cal EPA and the external scientific experts during the review process. DTSC was only informed of the reviewers' identities at the time the final report was provided by the Water Board. The external review report is included as an attachment to the final MLE technical memorandum. The report includes details on the materials provided by DTSC for review, the name and credentials of the external reviewers, and each of their individual reports. DTSC requested external scientific peer review of the revised Multiple Lines of Evidence technical memorandum. This updated version included suggestions from the public that were collected during Soil Smarts Workshop number 3 and comments submitted in writing. Please review Soil Smarts video number 6 for additional details about how DTSC incorporated public feedback. Experts reviewed the scientific validity of 3 DTSC conclusions. The first conclusion is that the use of simple comparisons can lead to excessive false positives. Secondly, DTSC concluded that the use of multiple lines of evidence approach is a valid alternative to achieving a cleanup to background levels. And finally, they reviewed the conclusion that remediation through soil excavation, followed by backfilling and restoration, would likely result in negative impacts to the ecologically significant wildlife habitat on the site. The first conclusion reviewed by experts addresses why a new approach was needed. The issue of false positives was discussed in detail in Soil Smarts video number 4, When the Test is Wrong. All 3 expert reviewers agreed with DTSC's conclusion that the simple comparison approach can lead to the identification of soil samples as contaminated when they are not. As noted by Dr. Parikh, strict application of a not-to-exceed approach is expected to result in large-scale soil removal, including soils consistent with background levels, leading to increased remediation volumes, extended cleanup timelines, and greater fossil fuel consumption. The second conclusion experts reviewed was about the scientific validity of DTSC's proposed MLE approach. The external experts agreed that the MLE approach is a scientifically valid approach for achieving a background cleanup at SSFL, with Dr. Parikh noting, the MLE framework is scientifically justified and provides a sound approach for interpreting background-based soil data by explicitly accounting for uncertainty, natural variability, and multiple sources of evidence. It satisfactorily addresses the limitations of the point-by-point, not-to-exceed comparison methods. The third conclusion addresses the ecological consequences of the unnecessary soil removal and the difficulties with site restoration. In Dr. Parikh's review of the conclusion 3, he stated the potential benefits of soil excavation should be weighed against the associated risks. These potential impacts highlight the scientific importance of accurately distinguishing site-related contamination from background conditions to avoid unnecessary disturbance when remediation would provide little or no environmental benefit. The reviewers noted the need for clear definition of terms. This led DTSC to revise the language in Appendix 2 of the document, which discusses the ecological considerations in the multiple lines of evidence approach. Experts cautioned the need to balance false positives and false negatives in making cleanup decisions. Experts noted the need for documentation when the MLE approach is applied and recommended periodic independent review. Dr. Blonder expressed concern that the project's biggest challenge may be finding clean, weed-free soil to use as backfill, since a suitable source has not yet been identified. Dr. Fleshman further noted that it was more realistic to reference attempted restoration rather than restoration, given that the latter may not be achievable. DTSC agrees that identification of suitable backfill is critical for attempts at site restoration. DTSC directed the responsible parties to complete a backfill study to identify sources. Study results are expected in spring 2026. DTSC will discuss the results of this backfill study in our next Soil Smarts workshop. DTSC continues its commitment to a transparent and well-documented process. Evaluations will be completed by the responsible parties' environmental consultants and reviewed by DTSC to ensure consistency and accuracy. This follows our decades-long standard process across all California cleanup sites. Overall, the expert reviewers agreed with DTSC's scientific findings that a new cleanup approach is needed, and they supported the proposed multiple lines of evidence proposal. Both supportive and critical themes identified in the expert reviewer reports are summarized in Appendix 4 of the final MLE Tech Memo. The finalized MLE Tech Memo outlines key changes made in response to these comments from the external reviewers. These include minor editorial revisions to increase clarity, updates to Appendix 2 to better detail the ecological considerations, and the addition of Appendix 4 on the external review process and DTSC responses to reviewer comments. With these revisions complete, the MLE Technical Memorandum is now final. So what does it mean now that the multiple lines of evidence approach has been finalized? It means that DTSC has a new, validated tool in our toolbox that can be applied to the soil cleanup to background at SSFL. Any use of the MLE for decision-making will be detailed in future cleanup documents and subject to public review and comment. Thank you for watching this video. Please visit our Soil Smarts page to read the final multiple lines of evidence technical memorandum. Submit questions through Stream, DTSC's SSFL tool for response engagement and answer management.